everybody, welcome back to RHD Godzilla. Been a little bit since I made a video, but mainly because I've been moving. I moved from the Kansas City area down to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So spent the last month and a half probably or so kind of prepping for that, and then of course getting everything unpacked and organized here at the house. But that's all finally done. So now it's time to do a little bit of maintenance on the truck. I'm going to do the fuel filters on it. It is a 2020 Ram 2500. It's got a 6.7 liter Cummins in it. So I did convert them a few years ago from a factory filter setup to a Black Market Performance filter setup, which I will link that down below. And the main reasons I did that is number one, it's cheaper to do the filters each change. So it's probably half the price, I'd say, or it used to be. I don't know what the filters cost now for the OEM ones, but it's probably less than half the price of the original ones. And then also the original filters in the rear has a black housing, plastic housing that they came in, and I lived in a cold climate, so I always felt like I was going to break that off, unscrewing the lid on it to remove the filter. So I decided to change that over just to make it easier, quicker, didn't have to worry about it breaking, and cheaper. So the filters they look just like a standard oil filter, but this one here is a fuel and water separator, which is 175-2949 is the part number for that one. And then the front one is 1R-0750. And it just looks like a regular oil filter. It's not, but it just looks like it. Or at least I'm assuming it's not. So I did get it from MDDP. Not sure what that stands for. However, they're based out of Pennsylvania. So, and it filters around about $55, I think it was shipped, something like that. 50, maybe $60 shipped for both of them. So not too bad overall. Okay, so some of the stuff we're gonna need obviously is the two filters, gloves, flashlight. I shouldn't need this filter wrench, but I've had a little bit of issues with the mounting block moving, so sometimes this comes in handy just to kind of hold it or twist the filter while I hold the mounting block on the filter. And then of course so rags and something to catch the diesel in, because you do have to drain the diesel out of the original filter. So this is small enough usually to get up in there, let it drain for a few minutes, and then go back to it so it don't get mess all over. So, and then I also underneath the truck I have a pan that way in case anything does spill, I'll be able to catch it. So that being said, also some paper towels, and I do have a bigger pan here just in case I feel like I need it. So that should be all the tools that we need. Okay, so there's the rear filter location. It is just in front of the rear diff. So there's the rear diff, drive shaft, it's right above it, right next to the gas tank here. So which I'd like to change that out at some point too, and put the S&B, I think it's a 52 gallon that they offer for this one anyways. But anyways, so first thing I gotta do is get the black little bucket thing that I had here up into here, and then loosen this up to drain the diesel that's sitting in here. And then after that, I can spin it off of there. The silver piece right up here is what I was talking about earlier that I always have a problem with, that rotates off with it. I'm not sure how to stop that other than to hold it and that, but as far as it not coming off with it. But anyways, so yeah, so let me get this thing kind of set up in here, and we'll get started. All right, so I always turn this just a little bit to make sure it's free, but I don't want no fuel coming out yet, just enough like that where it's nice and loose, because you won't be able to see up in there to get, come on. And then you if you have whatever pan you have, this one here, I got some sort of little tray I bought. Slide it up in there, put it just like that. And then you can twist. Let's see if I can. Let's see right there. So we'll let that drain for a few minutes, and then we'll come back and start taking this off. Okay, so it's been about 3 or 4 minutes, and it has stopped draining. So now I just need to pull this down and close off this little valve here. Close that, and then the tricky part is getting this down without spilling anything. So a decent amount of diesel came out, but not a huge amount. So now let me wipe this all down. Okay. All right, let's see if I can twist this thing off. Nope. So unfortunately I had to unplug this because that silver piece is want to come off. Okay, so like I was saying earlier, this piece right here always comes out. For whatever reason, I can't get the filter to unscrew off of this without this unscrewing from the pedestal. This here is the fuel heater for winter time. So I'm going to email them and see if maybe there's some way to keep this from from turning whenever I'm unscrewing the filter, because it's kind of annoying. It's not really hard to take out, but it would be nice to just undo the filter and put a new filter on, not have to worry about the rest of it. So typically what I do is I usually get a couple towels and put this in the vise. But I'm gonna try it a little different today. I'm actually just gonna put the filter in the vise and try and twist this off. So let's see if that works. Unfortunately, I don't have my vise set up on a counter or anything yet, so I'm gonna have to do it on the floor. So we'll see how that'll work out. So let me get this thing set up in the vise, and then I'll be right back. All right, so I got it set up in the vise. I'm not sure if this way is going to work or not. I may end up still having to wrap this up and doing it the way I normally do, but I'm going to give it a shot and see. Nope. So I'm gonna have to put this into the vise, which I hate doing. All right. So got it off. So now we'll go ahead and put this back on the truck, and then I'll put the filter on. Also, while this is out, I'm gonna go ahead and use a little bit of diesel and just kind of clean up the surfaces here, just to get some of the dirt off it. It should be fine, but it helps prevent any leaks, and it's just good practice to keep everything clean. So should have enough diesel in here to do it. Oh, well, have to make sure I clean that up real good, that's for sure. So nice and clean. Same thing to this surface. Nice and clean. I'll just clean this up one more time once I get it in the truck, but it doesn't hurt to do it a little bit now. So, alright, so I got that. So now I dropped this like an idiot, so I'm definitely going to need to I might have to dip it into some. Alright. The diesel that came out of the truck is pretty clean, so. Alright. Put that back in, nice, and make sure it's not gonna pinch anywhere. And yeah, so now we can put this back in the truck. Alright, so back out of the truck, gonna do the same thing to this mounting plate up here. Just gonna try and clean it up a little bit. Alright, so that's better. So now we can put this back up in here. Alright, so I kind of got this mounted up, or got it started at least. I couldn't do it with one hand. So we'll spin it on. Just like an oil filter is how it goes on. And then, same as an oil filter, you don't want to over tighten it. Just snug it down real good. Which typically is right in there. Alright, so now we gotta plug this all back in. So this one little plug here. There it goes, clips in. And this one here. Trying to do this one-handed really sucks. Go. Then push that little red tab back over, and it should be in. Yep, we're good. So yeah, so this just screws on. Plug the sensor, water sensor back in, plug the heater back in, good to go. So now I can go ahead and put the filter on. Alright, so the filter will come with this little O-ring. You do not need it, at least not for this application. I always like to put a little bit of diesel on the O-ring, kind of like you would with an oil change. I'm not sure if it's required. I'd imagine it would be, but I always do that. I haven't had any issues with it leaking. So now that everything's clean, I can same thing. You don't want to over tighten it, so just hand tighten. That should be good. All right, so the rear is done. Of course, we'll check for leaks once I get the front one done as well. So the rear's done. No issues. Pretty straightforward. Like I said, the biggest pain in the butt on this, on the back one anyways, is this fuel heater likes to unscrew. Now if I didn't have the fuel heater and it was just the top, then it wouldn't be a big deal at all. It'd just come right off and change it. But I did live in colder climates, and I imagine here in Texas it's probably gonna get a little cold too, so it's always good to have that. So anyways, all right, so on to the front. Alright, so now we're up in the front. As you can see on the right side of the engine near the brake fluid reservoir, if you look down just to the left of that, that's where the fuel filter is. So this one's a little trickier to do just because there's no drain on the filter, so there's still diesel in it. So sometimes it gets a little messy, but I've had pretty good success getting it out without getting too much diesel all over the place. So I'm going to try and get the camera set up where you can see it. I'm not sure if I can get it down into here or not. I'm going to try and put y'all down in here somewhere. Let's see. Oh, dang it. Yeah, that should work. Now if I can reach this thing. This one here I had to use the tool on just because it gives me a little bit better leverage. Just in an awkward spot. Diesel dripping. Alright, so while I'm down in here, I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit. And I went ahead and put the, I know you can't see me, but I went ahead and put the diesel on the O-ring again on the filter, and also verified that the O-ring was on the filter, not stuck to the housing down here. This is the tricky part. And once again, just do it hand tight, don't over tighten it. Alright, that should be good. So that's all there is to that one. Now it's just a matter of unscrewing it, putting a new one back on, and that is it. You don't have to drain the front or nothing. Okay, so now I'm in the truck. The next step you have to do is you have to prime the filters. So very, very, very important that you do not start the truck. Let it prime the filters. So how you're going to do that, you're going to cycle the ignition. Most people recommend 4 or 5 times. I tend to do it 7, 8 times just to make sure that it's full. You know, the fuel's full, the lines are all full, and all that. So that being said, I'll show you all how to do that once I get the spider out of my truck. Ugh. Anyways, so do not put your foot on the brake. Just leave it off. Alright, so that should be enough. So now we're going to take a look underneath, make sure it's not leaking. I don't see anything dripping under there. And then I don't see anything running down the sides. I know it's kind of hard to see on camera, but I don't see anything running down the sides of the filter and dripping down. Yeah, nothing dripping. So I'm probably gonna prime it once or two more times. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and start it. All right, started right up. No issues. Go take a look and see if there's any leaks with it running. No drips. Nothing leaking there. Alright, so that is it. Nothing leaking. Got the fuel filters all changed. Pretty straightforward and easy. So, alright, so just to recap what we did. So on the fuel filters for the Ram 2500 that has the Black Market Performance fuel filter conversion, you just need the front and rear cat filters or another brand. I always use the cat ones. Pretty straightforward. You drain the filter in the rear, unscrew it, put some diesel on the new filter seal, screw the rear one back on, you're done with the rear. The front one, you don't have to drain it, you just unscrew it. It's gonna have some diesel in it, so you gotta be real careful how far you lean it. And then pull that one out, put a new, get your new filter, do the O-ring, put the new one back on. Both front and rear, you just hand tighten them, snug them down by hand. Don't use a tool and over tighten them. And then you have to prime the fuel system. That's probably the not the hardest part, but the hardest part of that is just remembering not to push the pedal when you go to start a truck. You don't want to start it with no fuel in the lines. So what you do is, if you have to put a sticky note or whatever on the dash or steering wheel, whatever, it says do not push brake down, just so you remember, because it is habit to just naturally want to start your truck. But you just put it in the run mode for about 5 seconds, turn it off. Put it in run mode for about 5 seconds, and then turn it off. And you do that, I don't know, 5, 7, 8 times. I think I did it 8 times on this video. And then you can just start your truck right up, no big deal. Check for leaks, make sure there's no leaks on the ground before you do start it. But it's pretty straightforward and easy. It's just similar to changing your oil filters on a regular truck or car. But once again, just check for leaks, make sure nothing's dripping. You can see a little something there, but that was already on the pan. And same with the front, a little bit of diesel spilled onto the ground, so that's what you're seeing up there. But if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask them. And then if you would like, comment, subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it. Kind of nice to be making some videos again. Once again, I'm not a professional at this, but it is fun to do. So yeah, maybe I'll give you all a little walk around of the truck here in just a second. Kind of, you can see what it looks like and it has in it. I really don't have a whole lot done to it. So, all right. So as far as my truck, it's, like I said, it's a 2020 Ram 2500 Laramie. Pretty much stock. The only things I've really done to the truck is I did do the amp research power steps on the side. I wished I wouldn't have done the XLs. I wish I would have just done the regulars, because I don't like this piece here on the side. I like when they just tuck up. But overall, they're nice for the most part. No major issues. I did do the Line-X tonneau cover on the back, as well as Line-X bed liner inside. I changed the bulbs up top here. I can't remember where. I think I may have gotten them on Amazon, but they were like $100 for the set. But they are extremely bright at night. It's like having a spotlight. So they're worth it in that aspect. I did add the aux switches to the truck, so that way I can have lights and whatever I want to hook to them. My truck didn't come with it, at least my personal truck didn't. They do offer it from the factory, so I got the factory switch bank, built the wiring harness, and then got Alpha OBD and turned those on. So if anybody's interested in doing that, let me know. I build the harnesses for that. I built probably 40 or 50 of them, and I plan on making a video on how to do that install. I'll probably uninstall mine and build a new one. My newer ones are really nice. And then I have the S&B air filter, which I do need to change. It's pretty dirty, but it's a pretty nice air filter. The only issue I have with the air filter is on long trips, and I can't say it is the air filter for sure, is it does throw a check engine light a couple hours. If I'm been driving for 5-6 hours, whatever, stop and get gas, and then I start the truck and then start driving again, a few minutes later, the check engine light will kick on and it gives like an overboost and an EGR code, which I've heard is from the S&B intake. So on my next long road trip, I may go ahead and put my factory air box back in, which sucks because I have to go to my storage and get it, and it's all the way in the back of my storage. But either way, I will probably put that back in just to test and see if that is causing it, or I might just reach out to S&B and see if they have an option for that or a fix for it. But anyways, I appreciate you watching the video. If you have any suggestions for videos, please feel free to comment. But the more comment, liking, and subscribing you do, the easier it is and for me to make the videos. But I appreciate it. Thank you. See you in the next one.